the rhythm. Go live, Vegas on the screen, feeling the flow, so pristine. Boom, as the beats align, electric dreams, they intertwine.
All right, welcome into Who the F*** is Frank? My name is Steve Johnston, current toy expert at History's Pawn Stars and one of the co-owners of One of Us Comics, downtown Las Vegas in the Arts District, and we have a location, Windmill and Pecos in Henderson. To my left, Mr. Johnny Jimenez, the owner of the Toy Shack, the original toy expert at History's Pawn Stars, and business partner of One of Us Comics, so he's also involved with that. Plus, now the restaurant's about to open as well up in the Neonopolis. What's the name of it again? You remember? I still can't say Dia del Muertos. So
Alebrije.
Yeah.
Alebrije.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it. Very white, but I got it.
Yeah.
The white kid from Bakersfield. Excellent pronunciation.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's from Bakersfield. Hold on.
Got it.
Now we're not going to talk
I didn't get
about
the name El Gringon for nothing.
Good Lord. To the right, Mr. Paul Vato, the human promotion machine in the building. He's got a bunch of new promotional stuff. We'll give him a minute here to chat about that in a second. And, of course, we are joined by Brendan. Producer doing Aaron the producer things right now.
There we go. There we go.
There he is.
Now
Can we see the coffee cup?
Now tell me how great I am.
By the way, he said he didn't touch a thing, Brendan, which means he is deferring all of that to you, just so you know. By the way, real quick.
My image came in.
Yes.
And now I'm getting the echo thing going on there.
Now you're getting the echo thing. That's cool. Can we see the coffee cup real quick? Bang! All you got to do is go to GoLive.Vegas. You can grab yourself one of those mugs. Our show merch as well as the other Go Live Vegas merch available right there. Also, real quick, let's welcome in Aaron the producer. Has his own microphone.
Hey.
He is here to defend himself. That's what he did that for. That is purely defensive mechanism. By the way, Paul, can you describe what that microphone looks like?
I can't even see it.
How can you not see it? It's the size of the sun.
Is that called the ball, I believe? Yeah, it's supposed to prevent, echoing or whatnot. We use it in the voiceover industry or something very similar to that. So, yeah, now I see it. Aaron's big head was blocking it.
It's the same size as his head. Honestly, it looks like it's his spare tire. Like he pulled the spare tire off his car and he put it on his mic. Is that what it might have been? I don't know. We're going to have to get a picture of it up there soon. But before we get started today, of course, we want to thank our friends at the Nerd Bar and Voodoo Brewery for their support of the program as they sponsor us each and every week. So both of them, thank you guys so much. And Mr. Paul Vato, of course, is here with us. And Paul, you've got 1 minute, 30 seconds to give your pitch. Ready, go.
Thank you. I'm going to spend about 30 seconds just talking about myself. No, you know what would taste delicious in that Who the Fuck is Frank coffee cup?
What's that?
Cocoon water. From Hungary, my friends.
Hungary.
And you know what? I misspoke. It's not even water. This is liquid oxygen. So it hydrates down to the cellular level. No hypoxia, which is when your cells are missing oxygen. So hopefully that headache of Johnny's will be gone instantly. Maybe not instantly. But we're actually going to start manufacturing this here in the U.S. just trying to come up with a good name like Vato2. I don't know. I'm sure we'll come up with something better.
Vato 2, huh?
But here, I'd love for you guys to try it.
All right, let me try it.
Johnny.
Now, Johnny got his
yours?
glass
Okay.
already. Brendan, yours is in the
Cheers.
mail. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
Okay.
This is for talent
I
only.
still haven't got that rum, by the way.
It's pretty decent. I prefer rubber water hose water.
Man, there's nothing better than rubber hose water in the middle of summer.
Yeah.
That you just go and drink. Who knows what's in there that makes it so
Yeah.
I will
damn
tell you right now,
delicious.
I drink a ton of water now.
Yeah.
Like since September, when everything changed in my diet and all this stuff, everything, I drink a ton of water. You can attest to it because you go to dinners and stuff
Yeah.
often with me, right? And I can tell you that normally when you drink water, it leaves you a little bit of that like you want more taste, right? Like you're not like it didn't feel like that glass of water was hydrating. I've always like contributed like if I'm really thirsty, I want milk, right? Like cold milk. But in the case of this, I'm just being honest with you. I can tell the difference that this is not filled with a bunch of salt because that's what they put in water usually is salt, which is what makes you thirsty more, so you drink more of the water.
Now it makes sense because I was thinking like, oh, maybe it's the food I just had because I drink a lot of water
Right.
also. Where the people, the servers are like, Jesus, some more water for this guy. Like, and then I'm like, oh, it's the desert. You know, I'm thirsty over here. I'm visiting. You know, I'm not, but it's my only excuse. But I've been loving this. I did have gout pain and it went away. I don't know if that maybe was just psychological.
It could be.
I don't know, but it worked for me. So we'll have this soon. Atomic Golf has agreed to carry it, just like they're carrying Parse rum. Now, if I could only figure out how to oxygenate the rum, then we're set. So if you have a hangover, this will also help alleviate that.
Well, you could just sell it as a cutting agent.
I don't know about oxygenating the rum, but you could carbonate the rum with one of those little soda streams.
No, it's done. It's done. I have an even better idea.
What's that?
You're going to make ice. You're going to make that ice for the drinks for Parse.
Yes, that's how we. Right now, I've been using it to cleanse the palate as we do tastings, but I'm going to look into it because sometimes if you freeze it, I know it can't be in the sun, so I'm going to find out about freezing because if it freezes, maybe
Wait, it can't be in the
Doesn't
sun, but it's in a clear bottle. How come it's not a brown bottle then?
Mine will be in a maybe dark green bottle, but that's I don't know. It's made in Hungary. And maybe this is all they have. I don't know, but
Maybe this is all they have. Way to wrap that
this
one
is-
up.
this
We
is
got
the
Parse in
prototype.
there. What we didn't get was Paul has two other personal things to promote. One
Sure.
is the Karma.
Wait, his 90
Sutra.
seconds were up like 6 minutes ago.
Kama Susia,
Right.
and you can just go to kamasusia.com. If you're lacking in the love department, that will definitely help you out. And then more importantly, this Friday, it's my big show.
And if you act now,
If you act now, if you hold 1,000 Vato coin, I will put you on my VIP guest list, which is at Kookaburra Lounge in Hollywood at Ovations, where the Oscars take place and all that. And that's this Friday, which is April 4th. But we have a whole, starting tomorrow, Tuesday. So when this episode drops, if you're in LA, head on over to Hollywood and Highland. We have a comedy film festival and then comedy that night and every night through the 6th. So please join us to the PNN Academy Comedy Film Festival and stand-up comedy.
speaking of comedy, we just went to a show. Our buddy Carlos Mencia, he did.
I'm going to stop you right there. I, once again, did not get an invite.
Oh yeah,
So-
yeah. Sorry about
That's
that.
funny because
Okay.
Brendan was actually looking at flights and it almost worked for him.
Unbelievable. Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yeah,
I was
so-
just a little upset.
So he
Go
was
on.
at the what was he at before
Jimmy
the
Kimmel.
Harris?
Oh yeah, he was at Harris, and
Kimmel's.
now he has moved over to Kimmel's Comedy Club.
Yeah, so I think it's Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yes.
And then what was cool is after that he brought his kids down to Toy Shack, and they're getting into Magic the Gathering, so it was kind of cool. But yeah, he had a great set.
Amazing.
It was
Sure.
him and my buddy, Gabe Lopez.
Gabe Lopez every Friday night at New Woo as well.
Yeah, and, The Dirty.
Gabe. And the Dirty at 12:30 is amazing at South Point. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
South Point,
I
yeah.
mean, yeah, Gabe is a powerhouse when it comes to stand-up comedy here.
Yeah,
in Las Vegas.
local legend for sure.
When Carlos mentioned the Dirty and talked about how it goes till 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and
Sometimes,
that
yeah.
it's
Well, yeah, that's and I told him, he's like, how come I haven't seen you there? So we go there 12:30. So it starts at 12:30.
Midnight 12:30.
Yeah.
12:30
Yeah.
a.m. on Saturday, right?
So
Yes.
then you get done at like 2:30, and then you're drinking, and these guys are smoking cigars, and then the sun comes up. And then we're having steak and eggs for $6.99 at like 6, 7 in the morning.
Which, by the way, 20 years ago that was $1.99, but that's the old man and me going uphill in the snow with no shoes.
Vegas really is one of the healthiest lifestyles. So folks,
for sure,
move out here, and then you can hang out with us till 6, 7 in the morning. And that's my thing is it's just so far away.
I'm 45 minutes from there. That's what I explained to them. So we're like, I'm super drunk and faded, and then. I'll take an Uber home or whatever, and that's like an hour ride.
Sure.
And then I got to go get my car, and it's, dude.
We're talking about this. Johnny just needs to just book a room out there on a regular basis. Like just get a regular Saturday night room.
That's what they said. That's the way I got to do it. That's the only way to do it.
We can split it, Johnny.
There you go. But you're not invited, so it doesn't matter.
You'll loan me a CPAP machine or whatever.
I'll bring 2 CPAPs.
It's crazy is that Paul too, he told me before he came on, he's like, I'm going to ask Johnny if he wants to split a room when we talk about it. And I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah, and I'm going to tell him I want to be the little spoon. Of course you do. Of course you do.
It's going to be 1 CPAP, 2 hoses.
Oh, wow.
Video incoming. This is getting fun. Talking about shows in Vegas really quick, I want to talk about something that's upcoming. So, not often, but Johnny and I have a tendency to exchange like upcoming events or things we see on, social media or whatever, and we share it, back and forth amongst each other, like, hey, did you see this? Or this is cool or whatever. And I kid you not, I went on to share something with him, and he had shared it with me, and I'd missed it. And that was, and I love this, The Empire Strips Back, a burlesque parody, is on its way to Vegas May 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. And the whole thing is a burlesque and comedy show based around Star Wars. And at first I was like, yeah, this is a stretch. But the more I look into it and the more I'm reading reviews in other cities that it came
The reviews are really good because that's played in a couple of cities already.
Incredible.
The hornier you got.
I'm telling you. So anyways, when this airs, you will be, if you get on the wait list, you will be eligible to do the pre-booking. And if you're a local here in Vegas, they're doing a 50% discount for locals if you get on the wait list early. Needless to say, Johnny and I are on the wait list. We're definitely there.
But this inspired us, and we're talking with Johnny at the Nerd Bar, and we're going to do another parody of this, which is an Ewok version of Little People. So that'll be...
I'm in. You better invite me to this one. I mean,
wait. I think the audience needs some context here because, ever since Johnny has started talking about Chica Chicana and micro wrestling at the Nerd Bar, it's ridiculous. I can't even keep up. Paul Vato will send approximately 217 videos of little people in bathing suits or on stripper poles or doing cartwheels or boxing or MMA fighting. It is literally, it's not 200, but it's at least a dozen a day. So that Paul Vato is going to want a residency. He's going to want that VIP seat right in the front row for this for every night.
Oh, for sure.
Brendan was like, I've seen this one 17 times. I'm like, yeah, she's my favorite.
I know. Yeah. So
she's exquisite.
No, it's good times. Vegas stuff.
I didn't realize there was... Sorry, but I didn't realize that there were so many sexy female little people. Yeah. Because all the ones I'd seen, were...
You've awakened a hunger in Paul Vato that he didn't know he had, Johnny. How do you feel about that?
I know. Well, yeah.
You absolutely did. So anyways, if this is something you guys are interested in, you should definitely check this show out. I do think that this show is interesting. I do think it's a fun twist. It's a very fun Vegas-esque thing to have.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, as I see this coming with other cities, and apparently it did come into Vegas before, but it definitely didn't have the marketing budget that it had before.
Yeah, I'm sad I didn't.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be something that will come back. I would expect that one of these properties, and at this point, the Rio picked it up, right? So it'll be at the Rio. We'll definitely be bringing this back probably a couple times a year, but bringing it back May the 4th weekend, that's a very smart play.
That's huge, yeah.
That's a very, very smart play for that, which... I hate to mention that it's that weekend because, Johnny, unless you get into that first show, you're probably going to be in Mexico.
I'll be in Mexico that weekend, so...
Yeah, so you may not have to...
I'll be here in spirit.
But the cool thing is that Paul Vato will then finally receive an invitation because you won't be there, so therefore he'll get it, and he'll be able to give you a whole play-by-play on it. So it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm surprised it did to get away with this a little bit dizzy. It's kind of like that fine line, but
well, I'm glad you mentioned that because you know something we tried to do. We tried at one point years ago to license a themed Star Wars coffee shop, and their licensing team would not allow licensing of it.
So the coolest,
because it's strict. That's licensing, but when you're doing parody, so that's why porno gets away with so many different things that are so similar to mainstream or whatever. It's that if you change it 20% and you make it clear that it's satire, you make it clear that it is parody, then that's how they get away with it. If you're saying this is a Star Wars coffee shop, you have to jump through a bunch of hoops. But if it was like Space Swords coffee shop and it had a bunch of stuff that was just slightly off-brand, then you would get away with it.
Yeah, there was other. I don't know if you went to this, Vato, but me and Steve were involved in this project. We were there.
Space Swords?
No. So downtown, they recreated the cantina.
They did.
The Star Wars cantina.
Yes.
At the Atomic Bar.
It was called Fremont Awakens.
Atomic Liquors.
At Atomic
Lance
Liquors.
John's the owner. Yeah.
Unreal. They did this amazing makeover. Recreated the cantina to a T, though, like the tables, the drinks, the whole vibe was
band,
set
everything.
for one day. It was only open for one day.
And I built a entire marketplace that was supposed to be the Cantina Bazaar, and it's what it was. And it had an entry, and you came in, and there was vendors set up and selling product, and it was awesome. It was very, very cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was for the release of The Force Awakens.
Yeah, but it was just such an amazing. I mean, at least a month would have been so cool. That would have been such a destination.
They would have had lines for a month.
Yeah.
Did Lance or one of the owners do that on their own, or was it like sanctioned?
It was a production company that worked with Zappos, and Zappos was really big on that. And then they had the downtown project as well at that time, which that's a whole nother. We could go into a whole nother segment on that, but they had put it together and worked on it. And the guy that built out the cantina was a set designer that actually worked on it. So, which was really cool. It was done really, really well. And I had a chance to purchase all the interior walls at one point, and I should have just done it, and I didn't pull the trigger on it. Kind of mad I didn't, because I had a chance to buy all that, because he built it for the one day, and then it was gone. And he had it, and it was available. I think at one point MGM used it for something that they did, because they built a bunch of like half-scale props, like TIE fighters and X-Wings and stuff for some event they did. But again, these type things are really cool. It's fun to see it come in. And then staying on the Star Wars front, I know that Fan Home has, their projects that they've been involved with, and Fan Home doing some incredible stuff in the space. And Brendan, I'll let you tell a little bit more information about the Fan Home Darth Vader.
Sure. All right, this is a 1:2 scale build-up. So by the time Darth Vader's done, he's going to be 3 feet tall. He's one of cinema and pop culture's most legendary villains. It's an accurate half-scale replica built on the look of Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. Now, the reason I think this is brilliant, it was really, really smart of them to use this version of Vader, because it's not too far off the Episode 3 armor that Hayden Christensen put on at the end of Episode 3, and it gets a lot of screen time in Episode 5. So every generation that knows Darth Vader can basically identify with this one, because it looks really close to the new one, but it's also the classic. So Gen X, Elder Millennials, Boomers, they all recognize this one as their Darth Vader. You look at the chest piece there and how it's got the gray and black stripes. They don't all have that. This is kit number 1 and 2 that came, and the magazines that came with it. The magazines have history of the design, and it's got little behind the scenes things, and then it's also got the instructions in there for build-up. And then if we can go back to video, so right now basically what I've got is I've got a mask here with a couple little components. Aaron, can you come back to me?
Oh, he's got a microphone.
Hang on, it takes me a second.
It takes him a second, and by that, there's a little blue pill that Paul
take that
Vato
microphone away from him. I don't like
that
it.
You might want to, pop that.
If you look here at all these little details here, all these little, these are all individual details. They're all little pieces of metal that you have to install on there. So there's no like paint issues with this or whatever, where sometimes you'll see a little bit of overspray or something with the paint. These are all little pieces of metal that come, and you click them in. And the other thing is, when they're doing a mold, if they do a casting of this, you lose all these little details, because these little pipes and things that are on the side, there's space underneath there. You can actually see light through it. You don't get that with just like a casting in ABS plastic or in metal. And so by having them be all separate little pieces that get clicked in here, there's little parts that are going to go in here. They're going to be silver metal pieces and stuff like that. The detail on this thing is amazing. And you can tell already by the way this thing is built, there's little magnets that hold this together. This mask is going to come off, and then you're going to see Anakin Skywalker's face. What was that? The end of end of Empire Strikes Back that he unmasks?
Probably. Brendan, I have a serious question.
Yeah.
How long have you been a butler?
Oh no. So that's the other thing about this is I'm wearing the gloves because it pissed me off that once I got this is really, really shiny ABS plastic. And once there was like a fingerprint on there, a little oil on there, I'd have to rub with like a lint-free cloth or whatever. So now when I'm handling this stuff that's got this really, when I'm rubbing my dome, I want to be wearing the gloves that it doesn't leave a mark. So I had to buy something anyway.
I got you. Hang on.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
He's got the Mickey Mouse gloves on over there. He's like, oh boy, it's Darth Vader. Get out of here. That's funny. No, this is an incredible product. I think it looks really, really cool. I like the fact that it's like kind of build along, right? These projects like this that you're kind of building it as you go. It's really unique, right, Johnny? Because we don't see enough of this.
Yeah. I mean, I think you appreciate it more when you're, step by step putting this together versus just buying something that's all, just comes in a box and you just open it. But yeah, I mean, that was the best thing. I mean, G.I. Joe with the blueprints and you put all this stuff together. I mean, this is similar to that. I could see a father and son or, somebody getting involved in this. This is a big deal.
No, and again, put it together. It's also a good display size.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, because not everybody can get in the 1-to-1 scale stuff because those helmets and everything get really big. So being at that half scale, it's kind of perfect for displays. You can put this in the middle, build some figures around it, or whatever it might be.
Well, it's got a remote control, so you can make it talk and make the lights go on and stuff like that, and make the breathing sound effects from across the room.
Imagine him cleaning his dome, making the sound effects breathing.
Honey, what are you doing in there?
I'm just polishing my dome. I'll be right there. Honey.
What's with the gloves? Oh, I didn't want to leave fingerprints on my dome.
She peeks her head in. She goes, leave them on.
What is
no idea that you were role playing as Mickey Mouse as well. No, that's great.
Speaking of that, Paul, what's your most awkward moment with the CPAP and the girlfriend in that situation? Introducing them to that.
Well, I just put it on because I'm like, trust me, you'd rather me be in this than just snoring in your ear, unless you want to leave now. Oh, I'm at your place.
This cab fare on top of the.
Oh, this is your place.
This is your.
But you can still leave because it's very comfortable. But the Australian that said she found it sexy. That actually was the most awkward because I was like, "You're messing with me, right? Like, how do you find a CPAP sexy?" She goes, just how relaxed you are. And she was older. She was even older than me. Disgusting. So, of course she found it sexy. I'm like, God, what if I had dentures? She'd probably really cream her jeans.
She'd be all in.
So, you were brand new to her. So
yes.
The tiny one can't take a hint.
Yeah, it's probably cute the first or second night she stays over. After 3 or 4, I'll bet
Paul only keeps them for 1 or 2 nights.
I was at her place.
Paul's a discard guy.
Wait, so those bags of crap that you carry around with you everywhere, Paul's always got like 3 or 4 like massive.
Oh no, he's got an overnight bag. It's packed right now.
Yeah.
I've shown up with a bag with my CPAP just in case. And then they're like, kind of like, are you moving in? I'm like, well, my CPAP's there, but I don't know where I'll end up. I don't know where
I'll end that up. Do you have a wall plug available? Not sure where I'm going to end up, but the CPAP's staying here, all right? Oh, my gosh, this is great. You know what? Getting into something fun. Brendan and I had a discussion. We came up with something really fun that we thought would be good to do. We went to Johnny, talked to him. And we have a new segment for the show, and the new segment for the show is Johnny's Trash or Treasure. He has selected 6 items to be paired up against each other, 2 at a time, and Brendan and Paul get to take a guess on what they think the value of those items are and which one's more valuable than the other. So Johnny's Trash or Treasure, and kicking off with some comics here, Johnny. So take us on the way. We got some comics to start it off.
Oh yeah.
Of course, Aaron, the producer, is hot. He's hot on the graphic distribution.
You
as
have
you
to
can see.
understand, I'm also blind in one eye, so okay, this is going to be
We're
so
putting
much
it.
fun.
He's
We're
got
gonna put
excuses
it on the
already. Wait,
screen.
you didn't say what the stakes are. The person who wins this contest gets his WrestleMania laminate.
Well, I
right?
was trying to get to that, but now that you've done that, thanks for discussing that.
So here we go. We got some 90s comics, and just about it. Me and Steve kind of have an inside joke on this Turok one. So just about every collection you see one, and so we always laugh when they come up. And then recently we had a whole stack of them in a collection that we bought. But here we go, Max. These are like iconic 90s books. If you're a 80s kids collected in the 90s, you had these two books. I mean, and then too that cover, that foil cover on that Turok book was pretty dope at the time, but I'll let you guys decide which one do you guys think is more valuable.
So you have the Max #1. The Max is a spin-off from Spawn, and you have Turok 1, which is the dinosaur hunter, and it had a foilish cover on this one, and there were some variants of the Max, but we're talking about these two particular books. These are the A covers. Which one? And stop researching, Brendan. I see you cheating.
I'm not. No, my hands are up.
When you see
My
him
hands are up.
lean
I'm
in,
not on
he's
my keyboard at
researching.
all.
You can tell research face went on. He's like, hold on.
Hey, Siri.
No, I'm looking at the screen because so the first thing that you said was that you found collections with stacks of Turok. That makes me think that either somebody was hoarding and they found something accidentally, or that it's really like there's just a lot of them out there. And when there's a lot of them out there, then demand can't be high because supply is high. So I'm going to say of these two, just based off of that right there, that I would think that the Max is the more valuable of these two items.
And what do you think the values are? Because that's the other part of this. It's got to be. It's a two-part gig. What do you think they resell for currently in good condition?
I think any decent condition comic book from the 90s you could probably get $5-10 for. So I'm going to say Turok on this one is probably in the $10 range, and Max I'll put it $30 if I'm right.
Okay, Mr. Paul Vato.
I'd hate to agree with Brendan, but I feel like a spin-off from Spawn would be more valuable than Turok. And then I feel like you were maybe trying to throw me off by throw us off by mentioning the foil on Turok, which would make it more valuable, I would think. But I think that's
But then they
reverse
said A
psychology.
covers, so based on the A cover, none of the variant covers. So these covers you're looking at right here without the foil.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, thank you for your help. Thanks for helping me.
Turok does have on the A cover, that front image is a foil.
It is.
It's a foil image, and so is the Turok name, and that is the A cover. That is how they.
In that case, now I was going to agree and go with Max, but I think I'm going to go with Turok because of that foilage. If that's what it's called on the A cover? There's foil Turok. I mean, I really think it's Max, but just to not go exactly as Brendan. And then the value, I'm going to say, for some reason $50 popped into my head, but if there were several Turoks, maybe it's not that high. So 40 on the Turok and 50 on the Max.
Okay, but then you're
But
saying
that's
Turok
incongruous, like you said. You said the Turok was the more popular one.
Man, I'll tell you what, he's taking the political stance.
Yeah.
But the oxygen water.
But it's called it's helping me think because
This is
what's it called,
H2O2.
covering
It's hydrogen peroxide in the bottle. It's going to kill you when you drink it.
and there's also Clorox, guys. I didn't tell you that. So your COVID is cured. I'm hedging my bet. Isn't that what it's called? Because I'm putting a higher value on Max, but I'm saying that's what it's.
He doesn't understand the rules. Explain
So
them in
what's more
Spanish.
valuable? Turok is more valuable. 50 on that and 30 on the Max.
Okay,
We'll switch
so
it.
we got 50 on Turok and 30 on the Max. Johnny, go ahead and unveil which one of these two is the most valuable.
Yeah, unfortunately, and I did kind of give it up in the beginning, but yeah, Turok is just massively overproduced. It did well over 1 million copies of that book, but
too bad.
And at the time, it was a great book. I remember reading it, I remember buying it, thinking it was amazing, and but yeah, that's about you probably go to a comic store, find that in a dollar bin. Max is
Traditionally,
still
we'll find it in that dollar bin, and market for it right now roughly. If you need a market value, is about $4.
yeah, and then you're looking at probably
Which
on
is
the Max
cover
about
price.
10 to 15.
I mean, that
I
looks
would
like
say.
it's printed right on the cover is $3.50. So
Yeah,
So the Max is more valuable.
Yeah.
and the
how
current
much is
current
that?
sales
Yeah.
on Max are $7 to $10. So the Max would take it at this point, which
Brendan.
means it is 1-0, Mr. Brendan Allen. 1-0. All right, next up, Johnny.
One
What are our
step
next two
closer to
items?
WrestleMania.
Oh, see, it looks better on this screen. I'm sorry, I was looking at that screen.
Okay, here we go. We got Cecil the Carrot. he's about 3.25 inches tall. He's from the California Raisins line, and that's made by Applause. So, and then you have, of course, everybody knows Episode 1, Darth Maul. I watched that movie in the theaters a couple times just for this character alone. I mean, he was, without this character, I think that movie would have been somewhat of a flop. Oh, it kind of was in a way. Jar Jar Binks kind of destroyed that movie. But outside of that, this was the figure to get when that movie was released. I remember running into stores and everybody was just going nuts, filling shopping carts, trying to get after this figure here.
Oh, yeah, they were fighting over him. So we'll start with you, Paul, since you're down 0-1. Which one of these two is more valuable, and what do you think the values of these ones are?
Jeez, well, Star Wars is so darn popular, but I've never seen the carrot butt plug, so I'm gonna go with Mr. Carrot Top over there as being more valuable, and I would say $25. And then Star Wars, I don't know, value of $10.
All right, Mr. Brendan Allen, you're up. What do you think here between the two? Is it Cecil or is it Darth Maul?
A lot of Star Wars figures are really, really valuable, but the ones that are valuable are like, it's got the wrong color cape or there's a misprint. I'm looking at the card. I don't see any misprints or anything like that. And I know that when these movies came out, they were making a lot of these collectibles. So I got to believe that.
Now, before you say it real quick, before you say it, this one does come with the ComTech, and the ComTech was placed into a sound reader that would play like sound bites from Darth Maul, like talking and stuff, right? There's different versions of this packaging. This is one of the first versions because it came out with the ComTech with Episode 1. Right?
Okay, so if it's like first run, if it's in like the first batch of toys, maybe they didn't make as many. And just to be contrarian, I think that carrot from the California Raisins is thrown in there out of package and stuff to kind of throw us off on this one because that looks like the weird niche thing. But I will go against Paul. I'll say that if that's the first one and it comes with something special on it, that ComTech piece or whatever, I'll go with $25 on the Star Wars Darth Maul, and I don't know, $10 on the carrot.
So let's tell them, Johnny, what these two items would be, and we'll start with, since they both talked about the popularity of Star Wars, let's talk about that one first.
Yeah, unfortunately, Episode 1, just one of those things that just hasn't aged enough, and they just made so many of them. And then at that time, people had a little more awareness of like keeping things in package. So these haven't went up a whole lot. These figures you could probably get. Most of the figures from that line are probably in that $4 to $10 range, and this one's probably about a $5 to $8 figure, I would say.
Obviously,
yeah. And
like how Steve talked me into it when I was about to be right.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, Brendan, check it out. It's got a special thing."
Yeah, Cecil the Carrot, though, that's one of the grail pieces from California Raisins. So that's probably in like the $140 to $175 range.
$140.
Yeah.
So this is an item that either of you guys go to.
What I was going to say before Steve talked me off of it. I'm just saying.
You weren't going to 175 though. You just gave it a. What did you evaluate it at? $3 to $5? Is that what you said?
Well, we have to. I know we have to have contrarian ideas here to make it interesting. So I had to go the opposite of the correct answer because I thought you were giving me a little hint that I had to make it interesting by being really, really wrong.
And I thought I was a sore loser. Go on.
But what's crazy about this is that you think about it. So that California Raisins line was such a time period related collectible, right? And you even had where you had fast food restaurants that had them available and you could get them there and whatever it was. But that line was so popular. But this is one of the few unknown characters from the line that isn't a big popular character. Again, when it came to vintage toys, especially in the 80s, a lot of these toys that were made towards the end of the line were the ones that ended up being the most valuable. And so that's kind of what fell with this. But what's cool about this, you could go to your local swap meet and you might come across one of these, or even the Raisins. A lot of times people will sell the raisins for $1 or $2 each.
Or a bag for like 5 or 10.
Yeah, and those figures all individually sell $7, $10, $12, $20. Certain versions of them. If you have the whole band together, like all of these things that they have additional values.
Well, I have a question though. With the raisins, do they have to be? Because I know that they made different sets for like different. Like there was the jazz set, and then there was like the one where they were surfing, and there was one that like they were skateboarding. Like there's like 6 or 7 different sets, right? So do they have to be grouped in the specific like this set was the one that came out, promoting Tony Hawk skateboards or whatever?
It's so funny though, but just a commercial and marketing, and it just exploded. But yeah, there was the licensed stuff, and then there was a lot of promotional stuff that was done, and things for holidays, and same thing with the Smurfs. You've seen a lot of that happen too.
And it's the same thing with the Smurfs, same thing with them. There are certain characters in the different releases that they did will have a little bit more value. They'll hold more value either because it's either more iconic. So like in the base, the base set of, the band, the lead singer is always the one that sells for a little bit more, right? When you get into some of those other ones, sometimes it's, one with a certain type of accessory might have only been offered at a certain type of retail or something like that, or whatever it is, right? I know Hallmark did them at some point. Like there was a variety of different places that you could get some of these things. So to see an item like that be worth that $150+ range, really is surprising, and especially when you think going up against something Star Wars. So, scoreboard has us 1-1. 1-1. Paul Vato gets back in the win column. Coming down to the final options, and we're bringing Star Wars back this time. And I'll set this up so you guys know what this is. So, the first one is the Ewok Village. This is a sealed, vintage, original Ewok Village on the right. And to the left is a sealed Polly Pocket, and this is Polly's Party Stamp Set. So it's a Polly Pocket set that also doubled as like a stamper, right? And again, both these items are sealed, and just kind of interested to see what you guys think the values and which one of these two you think will be more valuable than the other. So since Paul, you won that last round, Brendan Allen, you will go first.
Just because of this, okay, so I know that Star Wars stuff from like the 70s is real popular, and the size of this thing and the fact that it's still all in the boxes, I'm looking at all those little parts, and it would be really easy if this came out of the box to lose just, some of those stilts or things that go with it or whatever. So if it's a complete set and it's in the box from the 70s, I believe that's the more valuable item.
Yeah, both of these are completely sealed, unopened.
Right, but the little one, the Polly Pocket, I mean, that's so much easier like as a small item to keep in the box. I gotta believe that there are fewer of those big boxes that's like game board sized, right? That I gotta believe there's fewer of those that survived without a bunch of damage on the corners and without being ripped open and pieces being lost and things like that. So I'm gonna say that the Ewok Village is the more valuable of these two. And God, I'm so hesitant to I know I'm gonna look silly trying to put a price on this thing, but I'm gonna say $250.
Okay, and then what do you think the Polly Pocket is?
17.
Okay, 250 and 17. Mr. Paul Vato, you are up.
Again, I mean, I have to almost agree with Brendan 100% because that Star Wars is just such an iconic, institution and franchise, and this is Star Wars, this Ewok Village. This is a whole thing with a lot of toys, and it's still sealed. And I've never even heard of Pocket. What is it called?
It's a 90s toy. You
Polly
should know
Pocket.
all about it.
Right. Yeah. I'm not a girl though. Johnny's like, I had one.
My daughter did.
He's over here going, "What's in Polly's pocket?"
What's in Polly's pocket? Probably a copy of the Kama Sutra and some water. I kind of want to go with that just because. Oh well, hey, guess what? They only made 1,000 of them, and now it's super
They made
popular.
like 2 million of those things. Every girl had one of those in my 6th grade class.
Thank you. Then yeah, I'm gonna go with Ewok Village, and I was gonna say $300 just because it's still sealed, perfect, and then I don't know, $20 for the Polly's.
All right, so the way this will work on this is since you both chose the same item to have the highest value, the person that has the closest top value to the actual most valuable item will win this round. Okay.
All right.
Fair enough.
All right, so the sealed Ewok Village, in that condition, they're probably about that's on. It would be on the better side.
It is on the better side. It's a very nice version of that.
That's in that $2,000 range.
Graphic
I'm sorry.
prices.
Come again?
That's in the $2,000 range.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are the last two that you were supposed to show in this set. Yeah, we're just waiting on you.
So I was
Yeah.
So we're
way,
talking about
I was
the
way
Ewok
closer than
Yeah.
my competition. Yeah.
And
He did the
Here's
Price
the-
is Right thing where somebody guessed 250 and he
Right.
said 251.
And here you go. Here it is, $2,000 with $85 shipping. What's funny to think is that this item getting $85 shipping is because Brendan, you referenced that this could be a board game size. This is about 2.5 board game size box. This box is very large. It's
big.
very deep. I would say it's probably another 10 inches deep. If I was to guess the size of this box, I'd probably say it's in the 20 by 18 by 10 range. It's probably
Well, what's the scale of the figures right there? That'll help us
3
figure out what size
3/4
it is.
inch. So the figures are 3 3/4 inch alone, and then this thing,
Okay.
all the tree components and everything, are 5 to 6, figures tall. So
Yeah.
this kind of gives you an idea of how big this box is. All right, so reveal what is the most valuable item in this one, Johnny.
All right. By far,
What?
yeah, about $4,000 for this Polly Pockets. It's very rare. I mean, not only that, the Polly Pockets line is really getting a lot of traction. Little pet shop, I can't even keep it in stock in the store, and that's something we don't get enough of, to be honest. A lot of people always bringing us the Star Wars, bringing us some of the '80s toys, but we don't get enough of this girl stuff in the shop.
$5 million Canadian?
That's $4,000 American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, this is ridiculous. And I kind of had a feeling, like maybe not that many were made, but without knowing anything about this, I must have missed it.
Well, no, but there
you know.
were a ton of these, and then the boys' version was Mighty Max, right? Where it started with a compact in Europe. Some guy was making a travel toy for his daughter, and he made the Polly Pocket, and they did make 1 million of these. So this must be just a super rare one. But there were tons and tons and tons of these made. Like everybody had a different one, and every girl in my class, like I said, had one. So.
Well, and that statement you just made is exactly why this is as valuable as it is. There were so many girls that had this. It was such a popular toy line, and those figures are tiny. They're about the height of those figures is about a quarter. Like an actual physical coin quarter that you have is about as tall as those figures are.
Yeah, they're really small.
So they're
Well, it started
easily
as a
lost.
makeup compact. That's about the size that they are. They're a little bit fatter because they have
Yes.
figures inside, but it's about the size of like a what's it called? Rouge?
compact.
With
Yeah.
yeah.
But what you found was later in the line when they started to come up with, and a lot of girls' toys, they really did this. They started to include like crafty things to get involved with, whether it was like make a bracelet out of, whatever this toy line pieces are or whatever it is. In this case, it's a stamper set, right? So it's more for like scrapbooking and whatever. And scrapbooking became so popular at the time that an item like this, but it was kind of looked upon as like a gimmick more than it was a toy.
Yeah, it really was. And then now they're being re-released with licensed characters, so they're you can catch them in stores now. A lot of the new stuff.
And the figures are taller now.
Yeah.
So the Polly Pocket figures are a little bit taller. They're closer to the size of like a Lego figure.
Yeah.
So about double the size, roughly. So this is a fun
Wow.
fun segment. I really, really enjoy this. I think this was fun.
I think this should be a game show, and I'm sorry that people are going to see this and pitch it, but I feel like this, I don't know if it's ever been done, but I think this would be an amazing, maybe not just industry people, but just regular lay people that would.
Wait, do we have to
really
cut
enjoy
this
it.
whole segment so that we can pitch it to a network and have Johnny have his own show now?
100%. Yeah,
Because
don't give it
I got to be
away.
honest. This is the most I've heard Johnny talk in like 15 episodes, and I love it because Johnny really excels at this toy stuff, and I'm learning so much right here. And I mean, this is really great. I'm sitting here texting Steve like we got to do this at least once a month.
Well, and it was really fun to see when, I was setting this up with Johnny, and Johnny was finding like stuff that he wanted to put in, and we went back and forth on like, especially like the Darth Maul, whether we were going to include that, or we talked about maybe bringing in like a Cabbage Patch Kid or something like that, right? To really kind of like throw it off. But at the same time, I think that this is going to be a really fun component. So I think we'll bring it back monthly. I think we'll do it the first episode of each month. We'll bring back Johnny's Trash or Treasure, and we'll bring that back.
That'd be fun.
And I had a great time in this segment. Now, coming up segment 2, we're going to be talking about the new conventions that are coming up and also something about Blue's Clues. But we'll stick around and find out what that's about. But right now, we're going to head to a quick break, and you're watching Who the Gets Frank on Go Live Vegas.
Count of three. Go, 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 Artistic Ironworks in the Arts District.
Patty's the worst. Comicon.com, your daily comic convention online. Insightful reviews, previews of the comics, toys, and games you need to know. Delightful chats with luminaries from around the geek spectrum. In print, on video, and everywhere in between. The show never stops on Comicon.com.
I'm an insomniac. I've always been. So I watch 3 shows and that way when I'm really focused. So I watch World War II documentaries, Dexter, and Law and Order that I've seen a million times. Yeah. So it doesn't distract me because I already seen that episode like 15, 20 times. And that's what I play. And then I price till 3 and 4 in the morning almost every night. That's what I do.
Wow.
Stop the gas, feel the thrill, chase the legends with dreams fulfill. In the game, where the story gods, it's all here again and they sports, yeah! Unleash wind, fuel the fire and let the flame begin. And they sports, ignite your flame, every clock, every dream, every game. Come on down to the drill bar, craft beer's never too far. Like do every night, fill the crew and get it right. Raise the glass, raise the you hat, the food, the friends who live, dance around, let them play. Voodoo Ball's a place to stay.
Go Live Vegas Studios, a unique multi-camera social media virtual content creators paradise. We offer high-end services using live streaming and film production for your personal or corporate, commercial or event and campaign needs. Pre-record or live stream to your audience on multiple social media platforms simultaneously. Fun and interactive with social media comments, phone lines, live remotes, audio Foley sounds, and Snapchat filters. Be creative, get recognized, and make money. We help you by providing an all in-house production team. Visit our website at golive.vegas.
All right, we want to welcome you back to Who the F is Frank here on Go Live Vegas. And of course, we want to thank our friends at Voodoo Brewery for the sponsorship of the second segment of each and every show. Voodoo Brewery in the Arts District. They are also supporting an event that we have coming up this Friday, The Laugh Dimension, hosted by K-Banks. And they are the official sponsor of The Laugh Dimension at the Yard on Commerce, located right behind One of Us Comics. Free comedy show, 8 o'clock. Come on down and check out some free local comedians. A lot of fun. It was a great time this last month, and I think it'll be even bigger and better this month. And also, a special performance from our friends Decaying Tigers will be happening at it as well. If you haven't seen these guys, they are so cool. They do all of their DJ sets with Game Boys. So they play everything on Game Boys, and it's so much fun, and they play a variety of electronic music to video game themes to all kinds of fun stuff, and they'll be DJing as well, so they'll be part of the production of The Laugh Dimension. So you can expect the area is going to open up about 7 o'clock. You'll start music and getting everything going there. 8 o'clock, comedians start to take the stage. We had 3 comedians plus our host K-Banks this last time, and you can expect something around the same. Should be a lot of fun. So that's first Friday downtown in the Arts District. One of Us Comics, located at the Yard on Commerce. The Laugh Dimension, hosted by K-Banks. And of course, thank you again to our friends at Voodoo Brewery for sponsoring that. And we are into the second segment, guys, and we're going to talk about the upcoming conventions that are coming up this weekend. There's really one of note for the weekend. Look, this is the time of year where a lot of those little conventions happen. So you at your home might have your local, 5,000-6,000 person convention popping up or whatever it is,
Audio again.
But the ones that you will see will be the ones that these bigger shows. And coming up in Washington D.C., the 4th through the 6th is the Awesomecon. Is that right, Brendan?
Yes, sir. So Awesomecon, this one stuck out to me because of the guests, and I'll get that in just a minute here. But this is Washington, D.C.'s Comic-Con. Washington, D.C. is actually not that big as far as population goes, but it's at the Walter E. Washington Convention Center. The guests on this one, so I don't know. I grew up with Blue's Clues, or my kids grew up with Blue's Clues. I remember seeing all the versions of Blue's Clues. They got all of the hosts of Blue's Clues together. So Steve Burns, Donovan Patton, and Josh Dela Cruz. Steve Burns quit the show a while back because he was getting older. He was starting to get bald. He didn't want to play a grown-up child for the rest of his life, and he wasn't doing conventions and stuff like Steve was. He was in a punk rock band. He was doing some different things, but something happened around pandemic that kind of flipped a switch for him. And I don't know if you guys remember that video that came out where Steve, came on a YouTube video and told everybody how proud he was of us and like the things that we're doing in life and stuff. And it was really fantastic, and that kind of brought him back into the space and made him realize that that people recognized him and held him kind of in this place. So he's doing conventions again. So Steve, Donovan, and Josh are both there, or all three there. The Goonies, Corey Feldman, Joe Pantoliano, Kerry Green, Martha Plimpton, Robert Davey, and Sean Astin are all going to be at Awesomecon. And then some of the actors that were inside the TMNT suits for the live movies. Brian Tochi was Leo. Josh Pais was Raph. Judith Hogue, I think she played April O'Neil. And Robbie Rist was Michelangelo. They've got some actors from Lord of the Rings. So obviously Sean Astin's already there, but John Rhys Davies is going to be there. Liv Tyler, Orlando Bloom. And then Shaun of the Dead was a really popular cult thing that happened in the 90s. Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are going to be there from there. They've got some comics guests. Gavin Guidry, Kevin Eastman is a big deal. Mike Choi, Joseph Schmalke. But one of the things also that impressed me about this show is something called We Create. And We Create is Tracy Ching and her We Create program offer aspiring artists and visual creators free on-site mentoring. So they'll come to your table and table with you and show you how to make money at a convention. They show you, it's a program that's designed to provide hands-on guidance to propel new talent to the next level. So they're doing things like doing portfolio reviews and stuff like that to try to help new creators get more comfortable in the convention space so that they can get seen, so that they might be able to get that contract that's going to propel them into the mainstream. And I think that's a really, really cool thing.
So what's great is that we were talking about Awesomecon, and Aaron the producer did Aaron the producer things and ran through all the graphics for Astronomicon, which is the other convention that we were going to talk about. So we appreciate you trying really, really hard. We're going to go ahead and just make sure that we give you the 2 F's come in the word effort of the day award. Right? So congratulations, Aaron the producer. Round of applause. Aaron the producer gets 2 F's today. Not 1, but 2. Well done, sir. Well done. I mean, the one thing I got to say about Aaron the producer, right? He stays on brand. He stays on brand for sure. So, Aaron, we could go ahead and do this, but in Ann Arbor at the Marriott, you are in, what is that, Ypsilanti, Michigan?
Ypsilanti, Michigan.
Ypsilanti, I got that, brutalized that one. Astronomicon will be happening also this weekend. And now, Brendan, tell us about that one.
Okay, now this one, it's a much, much smaller convention. They only have very limited hours each day. But the thing that really impressed me is they're doing horror, they're doing professional wrestling, they're doing some television stuff, and they've got Tommy Chong there for some reason, which is awesome. I love Tommy Chong. But for horror, check out these names. They've got Uncle Bruce Campbell. They've got the guys from The Terrifier. David Howard Thornton is going to be there. He plays Art the Clown. Samantha Scafidi and Amelia McLean play different monsters in the Terrifier franchise. And then they've got the original Hellraiser, Doug Bradley. Cool. For professional wrestling, Sting, Danhausen, Dr. Britt Baker, Lita, Joe Hendry, Kevin Nash, and Bret Hart is making an appearance. So just for professional wrestling purists, there's 3 of those names on there that I would go and see any day of the week. And then they're doing a My Name is Earl reunion with Jamie Presley, Jason Lee, and Eddie Steeples. It's not a huge convention, but it does, and these are all of the panels they have on one day. You can see there's 4 panels on Sunday. I think there were like 6 on Saturday. There's just a couple on Friday. But this is very much, it's a niche convention, but they are very committed to like the niches that they have. So for professional wrestling, they went all out and got some really, really big names. And for horror, I mean, Bruce Campbell, the dude is iconic for his franchises. And Army of Darkness, it's just, it's one of those things that exists in so many different spaces, and everybody knows, and this is my boomstick, shop smart, shop S smart, it's all over the place, and it's just a great get. This is a convention that, I would go and spend a full day on Saturday at.
And it's probably one that you're going to have a little more access to talent than you normally would. This is one of those ones that, we've had Sting multiple times in the past, right? And we generally will sell like 350 VIP packages, photo and autograph. And that's a lot of people to move in a, couple hour period of time. So a convention like this, you might go and you might be able to get into a line for Sting and only be like 150 people deep, and again, when it's a smaller convention like this is the advantage that you get to take on some of these. So when you're picking and choosing where you're going, sometimes finding some of that unique talent, especially ones that you don't see pop up all over the place.
Yeah, like Tommy Chong. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you don't see Tommy Chong popping up everywhere. So the fact that he's out at this show, like that might give you the ability. And then even when you look at things like, you mentioned Doug Bradley, Hellraiser, like that franchise is so massive that's a really big get. And then Jason Lee has started to really like scale in that whole secondary pop culture world for signings and stuff, because most people forget, but he's iconic with a bunch of the Kevin Smith stuff. So Jason Lee has done a bunch of that stuff outside of the My Name is Earl. He was my kid was named after him, Brody and Mallrats, right? So like you've got these guys that aren't making as many appearances across the United States. And so what this is that this is a show producer that did their homework and went and found some people that are saying, hey, I can draw from a few hundred miles away because people aren't getting these guys at their bigger convention that might be closer to me. So well done by them. I got to go ahead and round that applause up there, Aaron. I know you won't be able to do it on demand because I can't expect too high out of you today. But,
well, the other thing is I put that price list in there, and if you look, a lot of these shows that you go to get the Sting package, you'll spend $300, $400 sometimes, and all of the prices in there are right in the $60 to $100 range. Which, $100 you're probably going to get one of those and maybe a $60 one or a couple of $60 ones and get out of there for $300 or $400 with 3 or 4 pictures and autographed items or whatever. But $60 to $80 is not bad at all.
I think our VIP packages when we sold them, I think they were $250, which was photo op and autograph, and then it was also a VIP. So it got you early entry into the show, got you a special lanyard, got you a special printed poster. There was things that were included with it that were, merch based on top of the ticket. But generally speaking, that's around the range it would be. And again, I told you, we would sell 300 to 350 of these packages out. Which is quite a few people to move in a short period of time. So again, hats off to them. I think they did a really great job here. And we did. And then obviously you've got, big conventions coming up, down the schedule here. You'll be able to watch for and take a look at. I know Collecticon had an event this last weekend, and it seems like it was one of their more attended Collecticons. That's one that's just scaling up on a regular basis. That you guys will find out there. But we are in the middle of convention season for sure. It is definitely off and running. And so far the reports back on a lot of the conventions that I've heard from. In fact, we had Anime Vegas this weekend here in Las Vegas. And these shows are being well attended again. And you're starting to see more and more of the talent making themselves available to these shows. They were, for a while there, they were cutting down the number of appearances they were doing or whatever it is. And you're starting to see more and more of them come out. So definitely a great time. I think this is going to be a great year, this and the next few years, for the appearance world in the comic, convention center, whether it's toys, whether it's comics, whether it's a specialized convention, horror related, whatever it is, or in Paul Vato's world, if it's a show that he has coming up at the
Kookaburra
Kookaburra
Lounge.
Lounge.
Yeah, thanks for competing with me. You also have a show on Friday, but if you're in LA, come to the Kookaburra Lounge. I forgot to mention that Jason Page may be making a guest appearance. For those of you that don't know who Jason Page is, the singer of the original singer of the Pokemon theme song, Gotta Catch 'Em All. But he's prolific with commercials. Like, I didn't realize how many commercials that he'll sing, and you'll recognize that he's done. And he also has a few funny songs, so he'll probably be performing a few of his funny songs. But I wanted to do a shout out. I saw on the list here, I don't think you mentioned Martha Plimpton from the Goonies.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
I've been watching a show called Sprung, which I think is maybe already two or a few years old, and it's just she's got such a great character in it. So if you haven't watched it yet, I know I've been watching it on Amazon Prime, but I'm sure it's wherever they're streaming. But it's a very solid show. I don't know how much time we have, but it's basically takes place in like 2022, right after COVID. People get released from prison, and they end up all together in Martha Plimpton's home because her son is one of the guys that got released, and he charges them each whatever money they have to stay with his mom. They end up just staying there and kind of putting a crime group or syndicate together, but they end up doing good things and they only will commit crime against bad people, per se.
Everybody thinks that they're only committing crime against bad people. That's like the criminal mantra.
The only thing that I take away from this entire 2 minute about this is that what does Paul Vato get out of this? Because there's got to be something. There's something on the other side that he gets out of this. I don't know if he's trying to work a meet and greet angle. If he's trying, but what are you trying to do here, Paul?
I'm Martha Plimpton's new manager, and this as I'm talking, I'm like, why am I even telling them? I was just so impressed with the show, and it brought joy to my life. So I'm like, other people should experience it as well.
No, she really is a fantastic actress. My favorite Martha Plimpton vehicle is not the Goonies. It's actually 200 Cigarettes. And every time I talk about that film, it's like the best holiday film of modern. I mean, the best holiday film ever is Plane, Trains, and Automobiles. But 200 Cigarettes is, it's an all-star cast, and those usually suck. But it's got like everybody in the world in it, including Elvis Costello. And Martha Plimpton's character is just so amazingly fantastic in that film. She's a really, really great actress. I think she's really underrated.
If anyone knows her, I'd love to ask her out. So that's what we're getting.
What do you think, Johnny? Can you make that happen?
I'm sure we can. We can track her down. I'm sure.
She's
you
short
know where
enough.
she'll be this weekend.
Yeah.
I don't think you got to work hard to track her down there, bud.
So true.
So Paul, what you're going to need to do is book Johnny a flight. He's got you.
Got him.
Johnny will go. You'll go to Michigan this weekend, right?
Yeah, I'm not against going anywhere.
He'd like to leave early Saturday morning. He wants to be here for Friday. So
Sure.
you can book him out early Saturday morning, and he wants to return probably around 5 or 6 o'clock on Sunday.
Wow.
Yeah. So go ahead and get that booked for him.
Because if I go, I'm going to be there for about a month.
No, you're going to look like a stalker. That too. You're going to look like a
He's
stalker.
just gonna follow her on the convention circuit until he has like 10 minutes to talk.
You know what this reminds me of? It's those messages you get on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and they're all in your spam folder. And it's like some random chick.
Hey.
Right? And she's like, hey, you're super cute. My friend loves you. Follow her profile. And then gives you a link of like another catfish profile for you to click through so you can like give up all your information.
Whoa. What do you mean catfish?
I know, exactly.
I'm really, I got to be honest with you guys.
Like progressively more unhinged as you go further into it.
Oh, yeah.
I got to be honest with you guys, though. I'm very handsome, but only in Las Vegas because I get all these women at bars going like, hey, handsome. And so it's got to be true. LA, not so much, but in Vegas, man, I am the best looking guy.
Can you imagine how good looking Paul Vato is in Atlanta?
Oh. Why? Are there a lot of prostitutes there, too?
I'm just saying. I wasn't saying to say it, but I'm saying that there's a possibility.
They like you if you pay them.
They like you a lot there.
Love me. The second I meet a woman here and she's like, oh, hey, handsome, or whatever, I'm like, my standard line is I live here. And she'll either go, oh, okay, thank you for telling me, and walk away. Or occasionally they'll be like, I just want to talk. I'm like, well, have a seat. But just so you know, I live here. You're not going to get any money out of me.
By the way, to circle this back completely to the very first segment, was also that I love, and I think we mentioned this, that Deja Vu has an incredible billboard set that runs right off the 15. And they're running a billboard right now that says, Doge made us cut the 3 ugly ones.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, I think their
great.
line is, thousands of beautiful girls and beautiful Yeah, they got rid of those.
Gosh, this is great. All right, well, we are going to head to a commercial break. Coming back, we're going to talk about the new comics that are coming out this week. In fact, this week, we're going to find out who the all-new Venom is. But we're going to come back with Brendan Allen's going to lead us in that from Comicon.com right after this on Go Live Vegas. This is Who the F*** is Frank?
Count of three. Go, 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 go. And on the count of three. Go, 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 go. On the count of three. Everybody run back to your fantasy. Now, go, 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 go. And on the count of three. Go, 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 go. And on the count of three. Go, 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 go.
Peppermint Patty's the worst. Comicon.com, your daily comic convention online. Insightful reviews, previews of the comics, toys, and games you need to know. Delightful chats with luminaries from around the geek spectrum. In print, on video, and everywhere in between. The show never stops on Comicon.com.
Stop the dash, feel the thrill, chase the legends, the dreams fulfill. In the game, where you surrender, it's all here again and they sports, yeah! Unleash wind, fuel the fire and let the blade begin. And this monsters, ignite your flame, every clock, every dream, every game.
Go Live Vegas Studios, a unique multi-camera social media virtual content creators paradise. We offer high-end services using live streaming and film production for your personal or corporate, commercial or event and campaign needs. Pre-record or live stream to your audience on multiple social media platforms simultaneously. Fun and interactive with social media comments, phone lines, live remotes, audio Foley sounds, and Snapchat filters. Be creative, get recognized, and make money. We help you by providing an all in-house production team. Visit our website at golive.vegas.
Hola amigos de México, soy Johnny Jimenez, el dueño de Toy Shack aquí en Las Vegas y experto de juguetes y precio a la historia. Nos vemos de mayo en 3 y 4 y Toy Fest Querétaro. No falta este evento, quiero conocer ustedes y comprar tus juguetes y todas las cosas.
Yeah, my Spanish is rough, but
All right, welcome back to Who the F*** Frank? Oh my gosh! Whoa, Paul, slow down there, buddy. Slow down. Paul Vato, take a breath.
Listening to Johnny speak Spanish, but mine is worse because apparently my voice goes up. So when I'm, normal talk, and then I go, pero mira, nos vamos a ir a, and then I'm trying to think of the words, and so I shouldn't be laughing, but I think yours is funny.
You absolutely should
true.
be.
Yeah, it's weird though, right? When you cross over the language, like it either goes up or down or kind of weird. Yeah, it's
How do you say Toy Shack?
Toy Shack. I don't know.
Sábado.
I'm going to tell you right now that I want that cut out, Aaron. The El Toy Shack.
El Toy Shack
Johnny,
con Johnny Jimenez.
It sounds like
Now,
he's
what I
asking
didn't
you
know
a
though
question.
is that Johnny's
Toy Shack?
name is spelled Jhonny in Spanish. I thought it would just be spelled the same, but no, the H comes first in that one.
Yeah.
Well, they say it different. Like my name is Johnny here, but they say Joni.
Joni.
It's not
Yanni.
Yanni.
Jimenez.
It sounds like Yanni, the dude
Johnny
that plays
Jimenez.
the clarinet or whatever.
Because Steve
I know
says
you
Jimenez,
clarinet.
I think, doesn't
I
he?
say Jimenez.
Oh, Jimenez. So do you ever correct them in Mexico?
No, I do it all the time. Every time I do it, I do Jimenez or I'll do Jimenez or I'll do
Jimenez.
I do it different every
My
time.
name is. Wasn't there a character Jimenez?
Jimenez.
That would wipe his feet. What the hell?
Well, I'll tell you what. We got to wrangle this
Okay.
back in. We'll pull it back in. Of
Whatever.
course, Johnny will be in Mexico the weekend of May 3rd and 4th. He will be in Mexico for Toy Fest, so make sure you guys make it out there for that.
Yeah, Querétaro, Mexico will be there. This is their 15th year. This is our second time going. Unfortunately, last time we went with Stan Lee was there. There was over 40,000 people at that event. So yeah, It's a huge event. So we're excited to go there. I think you got the invitation, right, Paul?
Yeah, Paul, did you get your invitation?
I'm going to get myself deported. That's how I'm getting there.
Well, this segment of the show is presented by our friends at the Nerd Bar, and the Nerd Bar has got a busy month. They just celebrated their 8-year anniversary down there, Fremont Street at the Neonopolis. They did that, I think, it was like March 13th or something like that. They celebrated that. But for the upcoming, especially, we've got WrestleMania weekend coming to town, but it's not becoming WrestleMania weekend. What is it?
WrestleMania is taking over Las Vegas, and Vegas does not like it embraces whatever's going on. When we have the Super Bowl here, when Formula One's here, Vegas just embraces whatever's going on, and this is going to be really exciting. So just at Nerd Bar alone, we have a wrestling ring set up right in front of Toy Shack in our courtyard. We'll have live wrestling, but from some of the local performers, we have the final match of Sabu, which is going to be exciting. Rob Van Dam's going to have an after party. Also, Mick Foley, which Brendan would be excited to see that.
This is April 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so 2 to 5 p.m.
Yeah, Mick Foley will be here.
From Kids in the Hall?
And then we'll have micro wrestling going on the whole time. Yeah.
It's a great reference.
Yeah, so it's a lot of
But
things
it is
going
cool
on.
that Mick Foley will be there. And again, that's on the 13th from 2 to 5 p.m. You'll be able to come out, meet and greet with him. They're also showing, they got JCW's Lunacy X is going to be actually doing a presentation and performance there at the Neonopolis. And then later that night on the 19th, you got Violent J from Insane Clown Posse will be performing at the after party. And there's even more. They've got a Wrestle Swap event that's coming up on the 17th. Obviously, that makes a lot of sense. Buy, sell, trade your wrestling, merchandise and stuff. They have all kinds of events coming up there. Lucha Mania 2 coming up with Ray Horace will be coming up as well. That's on the 17th, so that'll be happening. There's a lot of events that are going to be happening at the Nerd Bar. Follow them, Nerd Bar LV on Instagram. Give the Nerd Bar a follow. And, of course, we want to thank the Nerd Bar for their support of Who the F*** Frank right here on Go Live Vegas. Should be a ton of fun stuff. And we are going to get into now some of the new comic books coming out for the week. We've had a couple of weeks, Brendan, where it hasn't been really action-packed. And this week, complete opposite. There is a ton of books coming out this week. We're going to run through a bunch of them, but this first one, this cannot be missed. This, when we found out what the solicitors on this one, wow. All new
Are we
Venom,
giving spoilers?
Number 5. I don't know. Should we? I mean, is it in the solicit or no?
As long as you say beforehand.
Marvel today, I just sent this off to one of the guys on my team, and I said, "Hey, put this out right now." And we put it on our Twitter. It's buried in the article, but they put out the spoiler cover today, and that's what I sent you guys. So we know who it is, but this is coming out on Wednesday. The show comes out on Tuesday. I'm not going to say. So all new Venom number 5. The identity of the new Venom is revealed in this one. It's on a spoiler cover. It's a secret 5th variant spoiler cover by Clayton Cray. Who is the all new Venom revealed? When all the red herrings have been weeded out, who's left? The clues have been in front of you the whole time, and they really have. Now that I know who it is, it's like, well, yeah, they've been building to that, but hindsight is always 20/20. By the end of this issue, you will know the name of the all new Venom, but with MODOK out for symbiote blood, you might just be identifying their corpse.
What I will tell you about this without giving it away, and it's funny, we haven't told Johnny or Paul, so neither one of them know, right? I will tell you this. This is going to be probably one of those modern keys that down the road, everybody's going to wish they picked it up. So my suggestion to you is, and I don't even know, now I want to look and see how heavy we ordered this. I may be going and buying retail copies of this and putting them away. I bet you I don't say that often.
5th variant spoiler cover by Clayton Cray, I bet you that was like a secret retailer variant. So if you ordered 300 copies or whatever, they might have thrown 5 in there. So I would look for those in your shipment this week.
Yeah, absolutely. Go out, acquire this book. This book is going to be one of those books that will be one of those modern keys that I'm telling you, I think they did it right. That's all I can tell you is I think they did it right. And how many times have I sat here and said, I don't know, not sure. Mr. Naysay on it.
This is big. This is a big one for Spider-Man fans. It's a big one for collectors. It's a big one for Venom. This really is one that is going to surprise people, and it is a big get.
And what do you think of the cover, Johnny?
No, I dig the cover. I'm hearing a lot of good things about the run, and when something like this happens, everybody's running back and getting those other 4 issues. But yeah, I'm curious who it is. Now I got to read it.
Now, Paul,
I sent it in our group text, so you can go back and see that secret cover right now.
Tell them they don't read that.
You read?
See, that's what I'm telling you. I'm brushing up on my.
All right, so after that amazing first one, the second one, it's a lesser known title. It's Mad Cave Studios' Pastime #1. It's a small town thriller on a national scale. Baseball season is all obviously starting up. I just stuttered right there. That was awesome. This one says Henry Hayes could have been the best baseball player anybody ever saw if only his dark affliction didn't prevent him from playing in the daylight. But when the barnstorming circuit introduces a new novelty to the game, night baseball under the bright lights, will his dreams of playing pro ball finally be realized, or will his bloody past catch up with him before he gets a chance? It's a dark horse. It's one that I think Mad Cave Studios does a lot of really fun titles and stuff. I think this one has a lot of potential, and I don't think it's one that a lot of people have heard of or seen the solicits for.
I could tell you this, Johnny. This would be the perfect type of Dexter show, and I wouldn't be surprised if this turns into that.
I hope so. It looks good. It looks interesting.
Because it could be that he's, some type of serial killer that's hidden as a professional sports player or something, which is pretty cool. Next one up, #3, Concert of Champions, #1.
This is the first appearance of Deep Void, which is a sinister metal band. It's the first ever Concert of Champions, a festival bringing together the Marvel Universe's biggest and brightest musical stars. Headliners include Dazzler, spinning out of her recent hit-making limited series, K-pop sensation Luna Snow, interdimensional rock star Leela Cheney, and many more.
It's a cool twist on things. The Void just got introduced right into the new champions. So you've got that, and that's kind of where this is coming from. Pretty cool. I think this will be good overall. Next one, obviously this one resides close to the vest for Brendan, and that's because friend of the program, Colin Bunn, is involved with Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe one last time, #1, Marvel Rivals.
Right, so we had this one, we had Cullen on talking about this one. This is the third and final in this series of Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe. It says first Deadpool killed every hero in the Marvel Universe, then he killed them all again, and now he's back, and this time slaughtering his way through Earth's mightiest heroes won't be enough. He's going after the worst of the worst, a whole multiverse of Marvel's greatest gone bad. Get ready for world-breaking Hulks, werewolf Captain Americas, and small new twisted takes.
Pretty cool. I like this whole concept. Plus, Colin Bunn does a really, really great job on this.
Yeah, it's a great cover.
Paul has nothing to say about Deadpool.
I like Deadpool.
Did you guys cut? Did you cut his microphone? Because he hasn't said anything for a minute, and that's pretty off-brand for him.
It's because we gave him times where he could fill everything, so now it's time for his nap.
I think the oxygen water's kicking in.
Yeah, the oxygen water's kicking in. It's nap time for Paul.
My gout is gone.
Hydrogen peroxide, and now it's killing his liver. Yes.
my gout is gone. I see so clear now. I don't even need my glasses anymore. Ow.
Well done, sir. All right, I'm going to tell you right now, we talked about Venom #5, all new Venom #5 being one that you must pick up this week. This next book, you must pick this book up this week. Marvel Rivals #1.
All right, so this is the first time they're collecting the Infinity comics. Those are the ones that they do on the interwebs, but they're putting it in print for the first time. It's got the Infinity comic #1 through 6. It's obviously spinning out of the video game sensation. It says Tokyo 2099. The time rift has disrupted the web of life, the wife of Leb, the web of life and destiny, leaving the world's heroes to battle it out over the best way to fix it. One group, led by Penny Parker, wants to plug the web into cyberspace to repair it. The other group, led by Spider-Man, favors a more conservative approach of using chronovium to strengthen the web and allow it to repair itself. The time rift makes rivals out of us all, but which team will overtake the other?
Pretty cool. Rivals is massive, and this is the thing, is that this is very popular with kids right now, so this has very long-term play involved with it, because this is going to be a Marvel set of characters that is going to be big with kids that right now are anywhere from the age 8 to about 14. So when you get in about 10 years from now, you're going to see a big bump in this product line again, and then probably another 20 years, you'll probably see a big bump in this line. And when we've seen the success of the spin-off of Rivals covers, and also what Rivals has done to make some characters very desirable and interesting, we just talked about this with Magic recently. Jeff the Shark obviously is the big one in the clubhouse there as far as the stuff with him. Those kids are all in on Jeff the Shark, and this is going to be one of those books that this has long-term investment play written all over it.
Yes, sir. All right, now, producer Aaron, we got 2 images for this next one. 6 is first. Let me talk, and then put 7 up when I get to that. So number 6 is Helverine number 5. It says a possible first cameo or full first appearance of Hellhulk, a character solicited to appear in full in issue number 6. But there is a spoiler variant, and now this is image number 7. That shows Hellhulk on there, so it's suspected that Hellhulk might be in this story. Mephisto versus Helverine. Mephisto created the demon Bagru Ghul for his entertainment, and now the demonic lord is not amused by Dakin turning Helverine against Hell. It's time for Helverine to pay, and this devil isn't making any deals. So that is Hellhulk on the cover. So he may be inside this one. He's definitely going to be in number 6, but that's an amazing cover to pick up right there. Even if he's not on the interior, here's a collector cover that's going to be pretty popular.
I think so. This is cool. This art style, I'm a big fan of on these. Go back to number 6 too, or is that right? Yeah, go back to number 6. So as you can see on these covers, like these are going to be very, very cool. They're done very well. I love when you have stuff that like the lighting and colors, and you know, it makes me think of some of the artists that use like down lighting on their characters and stuff. I really, really like this. As far as introducing this line itself, Helverine hasn't done really well, so maybe like it's done okay, at least in our facet of things, but it hasn't been a huge seller. Whereas you get a character, and now if this character is super sinister, and it kind of sounds like that's the plan, that could help this, right?
Well, yeah, and then also putting Hellhulk on the cover of this one when he's appearing in the next one might just be a thing to boost sales and get people looking forward to number 6.
Correct. And again, what a cool play, and definitely an introduction. And again, a lot of times in the comic book world, we see the first cover appearance and the first full appearance of a character. And, those books a lot of times will go hand in hand with one another. So pretty cool. What's up next?
All right, Daredevil, Cold Day in Hell number 1. This is a 3-issue mini that features a retired Matt Murdock thrust into a situation where there's a deadly gas threatening the residents of Hell's Kitchen. It says, Hell gone cold. After a horrific series of events, the world is in shambles. Matt Murdock is old, and his powers have faded to nothing. Matt will not, however, sit by and watch his fellow New Yorkers suffer. So instead of swinging around the city from his Billy Club line, he slings soup at a local food center for the poor. But when a mysterious, wrinkly old man interrupts a secret convoy causing an explosion, a deadly gas fills Hell's Kitchen, and this tale takes a turn that will change how you look at the man without fear.
No, I love the cover. That's super clean. Daredevil. It's the Daredevil stuff is so like, it's more of like a mind play, I would say, and the writers are really good. So I haven't got into this one yet, but this one looks pretty good.
Well, and being a miniseries, 1 of 3, this could be set up for something more long-term down the road. A lot of times they'll do that. Obviously, I think, Paul, you're seeing the success of the Daredevil, show on TV, and then you see them come out with another, branch of something Daredevil. It's kind of a marketing play, right?
I'm surprised no one corrected me when I said Daredevil, born-again Christian. Or did you guys not see that?
Well, I love it when we were talking about Kevin Eastman, and I totally went off on a completely other dude. It was like 6 episodes ago, and you guys let me go on for like 20 minutes. So yeah, we let you do that because that's what we do on this show. We let people make asses of themselves and keep it rolling.
We were talking about a Kirkman, and he went full Eastern on us. So.
We were talking about Eastman, and I went off on Kirkman, and nobody corrected me. And then I was watching it back, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm supposed to know this shit."
Well, that's funny.
And I will say this about the creative team on this. Charles Soule and I, he owes me an interview, and he's owed me an interview for about 8 years. New York Comic-Con, he blew me off in spectacular fashion. So while I have personal beef with Charles Soule, the dude can write, and I think this is going to be a really, really good little miniseries. He really excels at these kind of stories.
Does the guy owe him, or is this like he's just at this point like needs to go ahead and just cash that debt out?
Yeah, I think so. Brendan can't let it go. You should have seen him when he started just harassing me for tacos. And it's starting again because I think he might be coming out to LA. He goes, do they got tacos?
Oh, no, I am. I'm coming out to LA, and I was asking. I was like, okay, so what's the parking situation? Because my truck requires a bigger space a little bit because it's a bigger truck. What's the parking situation? What's in the green room? Will there be tacos in the green room? I need tacos. I need some of that hydrogen peroxide in a bottle.
Come here, I'm gonna eat you.
There we go, and we're in. Next
All right, the next one up is Birds of Prey number 20, and this one is just it's introducing a brand new team of villains. So a midnight heist, a staged crime scene, and an all new, or is it all old, villain team emerges with its sights set directly on the Birds of Prey. Old grudges, new fascinations. Where will it all lead, and which bird will be taken out first?
Now, DC with their all-ins are getting a little bit extra run, so this is one that I think people will be picking up just because of the fact that if there is an introduction of a new character or a new, version of a character, especially if they take someone that's not even an old villain as much as like someone that maybe was a superhero that's turning villain here or something, that always helps with these type books. So that's something to look for there. This next one I really like, Moon Knight, Fist of Khonshu.
Moon Knight, the Fist of Khonshu number 7. It's a possible first team appearance of a team called Pool Party, which is going to be led by 8-Ball, who's right there on the cover. 8-Ball finds a new crew. Who or what is the Pool Party? Fractured, wounded, and with his alliances hanging by a thread, will 8-Ball do the unthinkable and return to a life of crime? Well, I mean, it looks like he is right on that cover. They answered their own solicit, didn't they?
Well, depending on whether you think that the vigilante Moon Knight is a good guy or bad guy, because you got to remember, Moon Knight is as much a villain as he is a hero.
But is violence the answer?
Well, it always is to make a good comic book.
Next up, we have Absolute Green Lantern number 1. This is the introduction. It's a series premiere. So the introduction of Absolute Green Lantern, Black Hand and John Stewart, Al Ewing and Janoy Lindsay get cosmic in the Absolute Universe. We still don't have our cover up. Without the core, without the ring, without the willpower, what's left is the Absolute Green Lantern.
Aaron, all you have to do is press the button that puts the next one up there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. The good news is that we don't pay Aaron much because otherwise we'd be paying him to pay attention. So the fact that
you get what you pay for, guys.
Well, no, if you're paying for entertainment value, I mean, you get something. You get something in return on investment there.
Now,
right?
This is an absolute line. This is a must-have if you're doing the absolutes. I don't know that I'm as big on the Green Lantern stuff as I am some of the others. Flash sold surprisingly well.
Yeah, I think we sold out first day.
Yeah, so I would expect this is probably going to fall in that same realm, and part of the reason is the absolute line has been so good, top to bottom, each issue. DC finally found a winner. They needed one bad.
Yeah, coming up with the storylines are absolutely amazing, and you can relate to the characters. They are very dynamic, change the path on a lot of these guys and just who they are, and they're relatable in a lot of different ways.
Now, this next book, I think this one really has interest because of who's behind it and where they come from. And this is a character that is very hot and cold in the world of comic books. People either really love her or they don't, but a lot of times her stuff becomes very valuable, and this is one of those aesthetic-looking covers that you could be looking at down the road being like, wow, this could really be worth a lot of money down the road. And it's Black Ritual number 1, the Book of Nyx.
Well, and it's interesting, too, because the thing that's interesting about this one is a creative team, and they're not on the cover. I don't see their names on there, and that's bizarre because it's Nat Jones and Thomas Healy who are returning to the Spawn as a creative team. It says, Nyx has been many things to Al Simmons, enemy, friend, savior, and more. She was the first to take the mantle of She-Spawn and help save Wanda and Cyan against Al. Then one day she just disappeared. Now she reigns as the Queen of Hell. But where has she been, and what has she done to set her on its path?
And in that world, these type covers seem to do really, really well. But on top of it, it's just the fact that, Nat Jones has done some really, really great Spawn work and has a following because of it. And then, when you think Thomas Healy being in there, he isn't writing as much as he once was. So for him to come out and do something like this, I would have the belief that they have very, very good tendency to get very deep in this. So this is probably going to be a slow developing comic line over a period of time. It's going to have a lot of really in-depth written. It's going to be very adult-based written. That's just my experience and belief in this. I think this will be a home run for them if they stay that course and they stay on it. I love the cover, though. Not into all the satanic stuff, but I understand why it's there. It makes a lot of sense, and I think this cover is really, really appealing.
Nice. The next one up is one shot. It's Ironheart Bad Chemistry number 1. This is going to be Ironheart versus Chem. Ironheart was one of the legacy characters that I feel like worked. They tried to do a bunch of this stuff a few years ago, and they were taking these old established characters and putting new people under the mantle, and it didn't work great for most of the characters, but Ironheart did work for me. It says lost in Utgard. Oh no, that's the wrong one. A nemesis returns, sending shock waves through Riri's world. She's already attacked Chicago once and made off with the valuable artifact from the Disable Black History Museum. Now the alchemal transformer Chem is back for another bite of Ironheart City, and this time she's not alone.
Du Sable.
Whatever. Du Sable, Du Sable, Du Sab. It's French. I don't speak French. If it was Spanish, I'd get it right.
How come Paul Vato is always correcting the editor?
Why is that? Yeah.
Maybe.
No,
yes.
That might be the first time that he was
for
actually
a
right,
living
though,
and
because I
he
have no
talks
idea
for
how
a
that's
living. I
said.
totally get it now.
Well, it's a Chicago thing. Did you mention Chicago?
He's like,
was
du hast mich.
Du hast mich gefragt.
Real quick question, and I don't know if any of you guys know this. Is Ironheart in Rivals? Is there a version of Ironheart in Rivals? Because that, or we might expect there to be a version, and this might just be to reintroduce a current time period.
She is in Rivals.
Character. She is?
Yeah.
Exactly why this book is out. This book is out because this character is in Rivals, and I promise you right now, they will do something with this character to make this character valuable in that game.
So here's her ability in the game. She releases an energy scan from her armor that reveals all enemies, allowing her team to see through walls for 10 seconds.
And it might be one of those things where maybe they add a blackout or something like that to that character, making her, super OP. So don't be surprised if that happens, and then 6-8 weeks down the road, all of a sudden people are coming back going, do you have that Ironheart bad chemistry? Because now the character became popular and people are looking for, the newest stuff that come out. That's what they did with Jeff the Shark, and they gave Jeff the Shark the one issue before Rivals released with those characters in it. And then that book blew up, and then obviously First Appearance blew up. So this could be an opportunity. I hate to say it this way, an investment cash grab opportunity where you come out and you buy this book now, you go buy the First Appearance of Ironheart, get those books paired up, and if they make her OP in Rivals, cool, and if not, she's in Rivals and at least an interesting character.
Yeah.
So that could be something that happens here.
And just to confirm, I can only buy one at a time?
I mean, generally speaking, on big releases, so like the all new Venom this week will probably be a one cover per customer thing if it's not a pull box, right? If you don't have it in your pull box.
But when they do these big releases, he said one per cover per customer. There's usually 8 or 9 covers, so you could walk out with 9 different versions of the book.
Yeah, but we like to allow people to have an ability to be able to pick stuff up. Next one is Immortal Thor number 22.
All right, so this one is a first appearance, and I don't know. I'm not Norwegian. I don't know. It's Nurgle, NRGL, the Lord of Murder in Darkness. I've never heard of this, but most of these are based in like that Nordic kind of pantheon. So I believe that this is a real god, and he's the Lord of Murder in Darkness. So lost in Utgard, Thor has made his way to Utgard, and there waited the Utgard Loki, who the Odin son has never yet defeated. And with the Elder Trickster stood his pantheon, beginning with Nurgle, Lord of Murder in Darkness. He who was his, this is so strangely written, he who was his own place of power. That's a sentence. This is the story of the immortal Thor and the unforgiving city. Dude, I want to know who wrote this solicit because I hate it.
Paul Vato wrote it. I have to tell you, we're not laughing because of how you read that solicit, although we probably could be laughing about it. We have to laugh because, do you know when like you have an epiphany? And you're just like, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you're like, oh, yeah, like, I got that joke. Well, the great thing is that Aaron, the producer, finally understood what we were trying to do last segment, and he found the Awesomecon information. So, better late than never. We're definitely on Canadian time with him on this one. But there's
Canadian time.
There's the Canadian time. Here is
so
the
one of the
logo.
things, if he had put that image up, one of the things that I would have pointed out is that AwesomeCon's lineup is very much aimed at like 90s kids, and this is very much 90s imagery. So when we talk about conventions and we're talking about the consumer-centric things, this is definitely aimed at people my age. This is aimed at people your age. There's ones that you go to where they've got stuff from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and today, and that's really cool for the bigger conventions to kind of hit something for each generation. But this one has Shaun of the Dead, Lord of the Rings, TMNT, the live action, Goonies, and Blue's Clues. It's very much aimed at my generation, and the imagery and stuff that they're doing there very much reflects that.
No, and even keeping the color palette and the website there and everything, they've done a really nice job of branding. I'm always big when you find like cool, fun branding, and that logo is very like every one of us had an 80s t except for Paul had an 80s t-shirt with something written on it that was done with that splash, color splash.
It reminds me of the Dixie cups that you would get at like food courts, right? With the swoosh on there that's in those colors.
Yeah, exactly. And again, the imaging's great on it. It does, when you look at this, that this convention's generally going to be themed as an 80s, 90s concept.
I may or may not have had a mesh shirt, that just went, halfway down my chest. So
he calls
just
it a halter
stop
top.
at the navel. Yeah.
Now, why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
You know what's coming up next week? Paul Vato's going to walk in, and he's going to have that half jersey halter top Paul Vato coin logo shirt on. I can see it now, Paul. It'll be a #1 seller.
I think so. Let's put it up on the site.
Absolutely. Aaron, you've got a new request there.
Brendan will be wearing it next week.
Absolutely. Well, guys,
you can't see my navel, but this shirt only goes down to my nipple line. So
and you can't see below our waist because we are naked from the waist down. So, but nevertheless, that's what happens here on Who the Gives Frank. Speaking of Frank, he sent me a text today. He said, "The first quarter is officially over, and as we forge forward in our quest for success, don't be fooled. It's hard work and dedication with a sprinkle of consistency that pays off. Although soon the day of fools will be upon us, keep your focus on the truth. And that truth is that you're doing great on your quest to the best, and it shows in all you do."
Wait. Who the fuck is Frank?